Well, what have we here? What have we here?
House
Kidding me?
fire.
What in the
will
blazes?
die in a house fire.
It all comes down to this. Who will join Paravision in the upper bracket of the playoffs here of Dream League Season 26? Is it BetBoom or Talon? BetBoom with some spicy picks. The Sniper, the Axe, the Carry, Bristle. More standard lineup from Talon, but of course, very familiar heroes. You got the 23 Savage Lina, which was a beast. You got Makoto, Pango, and of course, well, I guess you can name everybody. Jokum Tusk is the one that really stands out to me, though.
Yeah, we just had WS have a great mag performance. He gets to try to repeat that. And in my opinion, Kuku's best hero of the entire tournament, Shadow Shaman, is going to be running it again. Now, I noticed during the draft when all the heroes were picked that Talon took some time between deciding whether Kuku or Jokum were playing these heroes. I don't know if they were just taking the time to discuss some more macro strategy or whatever, but it got me thinking that perhaps Talon were debating whether they should put Tusk with Lina in the safe lane and the Shadow Shaman with Mag in the offlane. And they could obviously still do that on opposite players, but I think these teams are more likely to stick to their respective lanes rather than swapping them around, even if they want the heroes in different positions. So it would more likely that they would have played each other's heroes, is what I'm saying, than each other's lanes. But at the end of the day, they're keeping them the same way. So as a matter of fact, Talon are trying to pull one on BetBoom here. They're keeping Jokum up here for a quick first blood onto the Axe. Now, I was going to talk about this. Let's see if Miro dies immediately, then we can get over it after. Kuku is preparing here with a setup.
Yep, Kuku,
There it
the
is.
shackle to start. 23 Savage. You see the tag team as well from Jokum. Miro is just dead. Who gets the first blood? They're going to try to give it to 23, and he will snag it. Nice start for Talon.
Yeah, great beginning to the game for them. So I was going to talk about BetBoom's draft. The panel went over it a bit. My main concern with them is I think this lineup is heavily dependent on Axe to function.
Not a good start then.
Right, and I do think that is why Talon are putting so much pressure on him to tri-lane him for the first blood here. Is when you look at the archetype lineup that BetBoom are running, how do fights begin? You have Bristle, Sniper, and Axe cores. If Axe does not have a dagger, you can't initiate anything. Like maybe a shackle shot. It's awkward, right? And then you look at the other side for Talon, they have plenty of ways of initiating. They've got Pango who can go in. You have a Shaman with the shackles or Hex. Tusk, we've seen plenty of times. Link Mag. And the difference between Magnus and Axe, in essence, is that Magnus can go dagger first item. I feel like with Axe, it's really dangerous. You have to either get Vanguard or Blade Mail or both most of the time before you get the dagger.
Yeah.
So that means Magnus will be ahead of the curve on that one. And if Axe to boot then also loses his lane, well, you've got a recipe for potential really strong mid-game timing for the side of Talon. So if you're BetBoom, you got to be very careful and make sure that Miro gets a game. Maybe you stack camps for him. Because I feel like on paper, you can't really win this top lane, can you? Against Lina Shadow Shaman?
See how many stacks Save can make then for the Axe.
Yeah. I feel like that would be something he should prioritize, but
Now sticking to the lane. I mean, he can't just ditch the lane.
no, not minute one, but I think minute 3 and onward, he should be stacking every minute. Something, whether it's Ancient, hard camp, or the side camps on the left. There just needs to be something for X to retire to after this top lane.
Miro finally hits level 2 here. And the other thing with Axe is he can't do anything in lane. Again, against 2 range here, so it's going to be difficult anyway, but can't do anything until you get Berserker's Call anyway, so be very passive from the side of BetBoom, at least, to start things out.
Nice sidestep from Save there. Doesn't get LSA'd. Kuku will still get the pull off here. Oh, that was not the... Oh, he just narrowly got it. But, oh, he's trying to interrupt the pull.
Wind run. Gonna get hit again. And that is enough damage. Kuku takes out Save. 23, though. A bit low. But again, no Berserker's Call yet from Miro, so can't fully capitalize on this. Talon doing a very good job early as mid lane. We have Sniper versus Pango, the classic mid lane matchup.
Yeah.
And at the moment, they are relatively close on CS, so generally a wash.
There's pretty few heroes that truly beat Pango, right? It's like Elst and Huskar completely bodies you. Maybe Viper.
Yeah, I was thinking Viper as well.
But for the most part, even something like Sniper that can be really oppressive to certain mid heroes, Pango just has double spell clear. So
yeah,
if he's harassing you a lot, he still have a little bit of a barrier. He can still farm from range. Makoto will be getting his in this lane. Until GPK is really trying to pressure him though, but quite enough just yet.
Does hit level 3 finally.
Yeah, Savage actually.
And then
23
wait
with
for
very
the call
low
on
CS.
4. Power shot misses.
Probably the biggest surprise of this laning stage is Lina only having the 11 CS minute 4.
I did not notice that.
That's kind of
insane.
crazy that
What
this
the
lane
hell?
has gone this in terms of the CS.
Wow.
When you consider how much, but they've been prioritizing putting pressure, but usually at this level you can get a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Odo will get away from a Kataomi rotation here.
Let's pay attention to the net worths then for 23 versus Miero in the long run. Pretty close.
This is definitely good enough for X.
Yeah.
Considering the way he got killed and the way this lane started, you would have thought it would be worse, but he almost has Vanguard minute 430. That is a mega item against a lane with 2 ranged heroes. They're not going to put as much pressure on you anymore. Save will have more ability to stack for you, feeling better about leaving you alone.
Shackle
comes out.
LSA, and
He did get the win on
23 doesn't have much mana to speak of now. Is Cuckoo gonna get forced out? Battle Hunger applied. Miero won't be able to finish the job, but he tries to steal this little wave here. The old classic axe maneuver. He gets shackled, but he's just gonna kill these creeps in the meantime. He stays around long enough for the LSA to find him.
Here comes Makoto.
With Makoto making his way over, will be a freebie for Talon.
I think you could argue that this isn't a lane that's worth cutting in. Like
Yeah, he was doing just fine.
He was doing fine. He could have cut it down to the small camp. Cutting it up the hill here just makes it so much easier for Pango to connect, and
I don't
good
know.
communication from Talon to bring him over for it.
I don't know how much gold he actually lost. He's only 130 away from Vit Booster, so
Yeah.
thinking maybe he was just trying to get that last amount of gold, buying it before the death, and that wouldn't have been so bad. Not the case, though.
Still doing marginally better than the Magnus on the net worth department. Of course, the Bristleback matchup for Mag, quite tough. Most melee offlaners do not enjoy the Bristleback. Every time you come in close, you just get harassed. I guess it's also worth talking about. The panel mentioned the break for Shadow Shaman against Bristleback, that you're going to have that later down the line here for the Dire. You also have a Silver Edge Buyer in the Lina. So carry Bristle isn't necessarily having the freest of games here on a theoretical level. It's good for him that he's off to a good start and can, hopefully for him, outpace that problem.
Heritage. First item will be main item, that is, will be Aghanim Scepter.
This has not been so popular as of late.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's really good with Axe, though.
Very true. Yeah, that is. Berserkers call in and get a nice juicy full spray stack. Like to see that.
Heritage actually got skewered up on the cliff, and there's ice sharding him. They thought he was TPing, so he ice sharded. Joachim himself TP'd in to stop the TP, but he wasn't porting yet on Heritage. If he could have stopped that with a snowball, that's the type of thing that can win you a game. Would have been stuck there for a
getting
very long
chased
time.
now. Pitch. TP back to the tier 1. We'll meet him.
Disarm.
Oracle is almost certainly going to die here, but at what cost exactly? How much can Kiritich get out of this? He stays, make his way over. A nice double shackle onto 2 heroes. He gets the power shot as well. They do eventually get Kataomi. Now Cuckoo in peril. Kiritich taking low on mana, but plenty be able to take out Cuckoo in the end. So a 2-for-1 benefit going to BetBoom this time.
Nice response from Save here. Connecting over on that play, and as we've already established, Axe now with the Vanguard doesn't even really need too much help anymore to be able to farm. He can always just retreat to the jungle, farm some stacks. They didn't really make too many for him. There was a hard camp he just farmed now, and he will stack his own ancients. But at the same time, Savage is pushing into his tower, so he can also get that farm. GPK now.
Oh, very nice snag of the Arcane Rune. Savage is going to come over as well. Gets the Laguna onto GPK with the LSA to follow. False Promise about to end here. Actually, not False Promise. He's not even level 6 yet, Cinder. And he's actually going to turn this around up to 23 Savage with the Assassinate. They'll trade lives. The save now. One is already over, looking for the power shot. Kill shot onto Jokum. Not going to find it, though, as WS will come to get a little sandwich surprise. Well, they do get 2 in the end for Talon. It is at the cost, though, of 23.
I'm surprised Mikoto didn't finish the kill on Oracle. He was about to have his shield crash up and was going to be a one-shot with that. But he ended up turning around, going back to the river to help his teammates after that part of the fight was kind of over. So all said and done, this turns into pretty much an even trade, maybe slightly Talon-favored trade that they got. Nice stacks being made here by Jokum as well. This is 2 triple stacks now. Either Pango or Lina will be very happy to farm that up later. Could also give some of it to WS. I don't think they will, though. I don't think there's any point. He just needs his blink, and he'll be good to go. Also for Jokum himself, he's level 4 on the Tusk, so he needs that shared experience of those stack camps to bridge the gap to 6. Oh, that's a nice power shot. Did he even have vision of him? I don't think he did. He just randomly hit the Tusk during healing south. Unlucky for Jokum, he just walked into that one.
Classic save.
Well, can't really give him credit.
Getting spells correctly. So Miero will be going for the Blink Dagger next, now that he has the Vanguard and Phase Boots, and of course Chipper. Chipper's Vest.
Chip Vest, yes.
Chipper's Vest.
Yes. I don't know if you thought it was called that, if you've already...
No, that's the new name.
Okay.
Massive Chipper, so it's Chipper's Vest. Cool. The smoke off here, and yeah, Miero would be a very nice kill. We're thinking about, they actually separate a bit.
Well, this is a really long move to find nothing.
You get a lot of farm on these Ancients now from Miero.
Place an Obs that's starting to get sentryed out.
Yeah, and now they
destroy the sentry, but obviously BetBoom know this ward is here, so they'll net up in a moment.
Definitely a waste of time here.
That's all around. That's just a net negative smoke because you also wasted a ward.
Yeah, they're going to deny their own ward here. Yeah.
WS actually will take the hard camp. Interesting. Okay. So, well, that'll give him his blink. Will arrive a little bit faster courtesy of that. But the Ancients, definitely not something Magnus will be interested in farming. Rather give them over to someone else. He's going to take way too much damage going for that stack. Has his playmaking item unlocked. Jokum family farming the jungle with Mikoto to try to get 6. Laguna Blade.
Yeah, Focus Fire actually doing a decent amount to 23 as trying for kill shot.
It's one of those where it's like a 10% hit, but definitely worth trying. And then when you when you make it, it's so good.
That's definitely a cool one. As Mikoto rolling Thunder, Miero is the target. Gonna get Serpent warded and shackled inside. Oh, okay, he gets bounced out, but doesn't matter too much. 23 will take Miero out.
They bring a lot of heroes to that play, though. And use the Serpent wards just to kill the Axe. Not the biggest of deals for BetBoom. In the meantime, Katsuomi gets to stack Ancients and Triangle as well, so when Axe respawns, he can find a little bit of recovery over there. I haven't talked about him too much, but Kiritich is just hitting creeps. Yeah, his Bristle is progressing nicely. Currently, that's the full Ags in 650.
Not bad. So BetBoom's timing, I would say, is fairly obvious. Once this Blink Dagger's online for Miero, that's aligned with the Kiritich Ags in all likelihood, so likely smoke up after the fact. And what about for Talon? They already have the blink on the mag.
Yeah, they want to fight now. Mikoto has Diffusal, so they themselves are very much ready to go as well. I think the goal for Talon here is to not involve 23 Savage. I think the less Lina fights, the better in a game like this. She just really needs to get to those bigger items so she can deal with the sniper matchup, deal with the bristle matchup better. Nice. Wait, did he just steal 3 or 4 creeps with the power shot there? I think he did on save. 3 Savage lost a couple of Ancients to him.
Save will focus fire down the tier 1. 2k advantage for BetBoom here. Now we see a smoke, and Miera wants to put this blink dagger to good use.
The dream target here is Lina. Might just find him too. Okay.
It's scanned. Nice.
Yeah.
Nicely done from Talon. I'm gonna have to just go for the mid.
Yeah, settle for Jokum in a tower. Not a bad prize either, but the GPK can just do it on his own with the Dragon Lance.
And Jokum seems to be fine.
Happy to see this build from the Sniper. We cast another game with Sniper going first item Pike. I personally think bypassing Maelstrom for that long has to be a net negative most of the time. Or in case you want to get Deso. I like the Dragon Lance into Maelstrom or vice versa and then finishing the Pike. The overall flow of that and sort of GPM just feels a little bit better.
Yeah.
Pike rush has to be because you're like really scared of something and you feel like you're going to have to fight, but if that's not the case, every passing minute just feels like a bit of a loss. So
nice. 123 with this will basically have his boost of travel. Heritage runs into Makoto. They get the RP off as well. The stun locks to follow. Heritage very, very dead. Pick off again from Talon. They see that he has the Aghanim Scepter on the Bristol as well. Obviously couldn't cast anything in that state.
Well, that makes him more vulnerable. If he had a traditional Bristol back
there's the Blink Berserker's call. Power shot to follow, looking for the dunkity-dunk. Shackle though. There it is.
Now,
First
foul
stack
play
of the
doesn't
game.
really work against this.
One of the few counters.
Not gonna go off.
I guess AA Blast would be a counter. And
Yeah.
break. I guess Viper Strike, right?
Yeah, Viper Strike. How many break spells are in the game? Like 2, right? What's the other one? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I guess the Shaman Hex. Well, you can't use that on yourself.
Nyx has the talent, or the shard, sorry. The Vendetta. Unless that was changed again for the millionth time.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. We haven't seen this hero in a while now. That still applies break on the shard. So yeah, Vendetta as well could do it. Hero and save. Looking for Cuckoo again.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome
right,
back.
Back to back. He gets the Hex off in time though. Oh, the Serpent
he
Ward's
damage.
wasted. As now Makoto gonna try to salvage this Abyss onto save. Doing a blade reserved just for him, but Serpent Ward's down.
This is so much easier said than done, but in retrospect, you have to use Shock first there, right?
Yeah, was that the that wasn't Sister's panties, was it?
No. It's great thing that you're calling that, though. If anybody's unaware what you're talking about, they're like, what's this guy? What? No, it
I
wasn't.
actually don't remember the name.
Sister Shroud.
Sorry.
He doesn't have Sister Shroud. He has the chip vest on the axe. But
So sorry about
yeah,
that.
you want to, in that exact situation, you want to hex Shock and then put the wards down. But you only have very little time, right? Because it's level 1 hex. So I understand the plan to go hex ward trap into instant shackles, but actually with those cast points, Miro barely able to get the blink off.
Kiritish will have Hairball incoming.
Yeah, standard stuff for Bristle. One of the
Maelstrom
best
finish
cards
for
in the game.
GPK. One of the best shards,
Yeah,
really.
It's really good.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not good. It's just, when you say one of the best shards, I think top 15, there's no way.
It's top 15.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
This is a mandatory item on the hero. It's that good. I think, I don't know, how would you categorize that? Because, like, let's say you have a hero that's bad,
Yeah.
but the shard makes the hero good.
Yeah.
Then it's a top 15 shard, right?
Probably, yeah.
That's obviously not the case for Bristle. I'm just saying, like, there's certain shards that are incredibly powerful on heroes that almost need them to function.
Oh, WS. It doesn't have any backup here, so.
This was just an incredible one on the Bristle. It's also been nerfed, and it's still just, you're just fine.
Is this a silver edge game for 23 at any point?
It's a possibility.
Nobody else is going to buy that.
Someone might have mentioned that in this cast 15 minutes ago. It might have been brought up already.
Well,
I'll let you know if I find some.
You have to check the VOD out for that.
Yeah.
That was.
Oh, that's good. this mental image of you going back, listening through our cast to hear what I had to say during the game.
I could think of nothing less that I would want to do. Jeez.
Well, that's how you would figure out what I've told you, though. Good.
I'd rather not know.
It's
Ignorance is bliss, as
probably for the better.
the Matrix told us.
All right,
Very even game.
BetBoom, GPK.
Yeah, damage room for GPK as they're going to smoke up. And it might again be Cuckoo.
Oh, nice.
Oh, call misses.
Oh, he's still going to die, though.
Yes, he will. Oh, he could deny himself to creeps. No, the tomato will not oblige.
I say nice. That looked like a total coincidence. I don't think he even had vision of the axe, but just it didn't really matter in the end. Just the one upside is that Nero didn't get a culling stack. Silver lining there for Cuckoo. Bigger objective for BetBoom will be claimed here. The Roshan. Nice and quick with Bristleback and amp damage sniper. And even a little focus fire for good measure.
Talon are on their way. Looks like they will finish it off. The question is, does Talon want to continue?
Actually gonna... Oh, they're too late. Rolling Thunder on nothing.
Oh, boy.
Makoto.
No, you don't want to show it now.
If a pangolin rolled around with no one to see it, did it ever happen?
That's a good question. We did see it, though. Heritage does not run into the smoke. I don't think it really would have mattered too much. It's going to be a hard kill. The Diffusal Blade, of course, from Makoto is going to be very good against the Bristle in general. But without a break, will still be a tough kill.
Upgrade for GPK here. Gets the pike. Sniper with a pretty standard build here. Going to go Mjolnir next. Really nice item to put on Axe if you can coordinate that.
True.
Solid synergy there between... It's pretty rare that you see Mjolnir put on your allies, really. I feel like players mostly just put it on creep waves to push safely or put it on themselves when they're getting focused in a fight. But
it's a forgotten feature of the great Mjolnir.
it is actually quite powerful. It does a lot in certain types of fights and against some lineups, so...
The fact that Axe can force you to attack.
Yep.
Very powerful. As the
Second objective.
Dave will get Gale Force.
Free Gale Force, the dream. He's going to be able to finish off his Yules and then go for a secondary utility item.
Honestly, Reign of Destiny would have been pretty damn good as well.
I love Gale Force. One of the best shards in the game. And you will agree with that one. I know you will agree with that one.
Top 15?
So good, man.
There's so many good shards that I don't know if I can confidently say yes. It's very good, of course.
It's also like, if there's, let's say there's almost 130 shards. What are one of the best? Your cutoff is top 15?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. It's a very arbitrary cutoff.
Well,
but
everything is going to be arbitrary at that point. How do you make that?
It's usually when
technical?
you ask people what's one of the best, they'll say like top 3, top 5, top 10, top 15. Whoever says top 15 about anything?
Well, there's actually a reason for that, because I used to say top 10 for like 15 spells.
Oh.
15 ags.
Yeah.
I'm like, I might as well just make that 15 then.
Okay.
Give myself a little leeway, Cinderman.
Yeah. Fair enough.
You live and you learn. At least some of us do. As a tier 2 tower fortification.
No defense being mounted here from the side of Talon. They are well aware of the situation. This Bristleback with Age is tough to fight into. The Boom are nicely set up. They're just going to let it go.
Yeah, I will say, though, situations like this that we've seen from Talon, where it's roughly even at the 21-minute mark.
Oh, this is a big catch. 23 Savage. Easy kill.
Oh, my.
Link Blade Mail just owns Lina completely at this stage of the game. No Satanic. Just can't stay alive. If she gets Blink called while she has Fiery Soul running.
That is the perfect target. Jokum, Minor Oracle is going to pop the Ghost Scepter, though, as a Rolling Thunder coming in. They'll delete the Oracle to start, and there's the RP onto 2. They're still going to fight despite not having their lead out. GPK continuing to get stunned. A huge shield crash comes out. Kiritich does a lot of damage in the meantime, of course. It's that Aegis as Makoto. She doesn't have shield crash for another 2. We'll be able to burn life number 1. Can he get away? Swashbuckle just about to come up. And we'll TP out. Should be fine.
That was not far from a Shackle Shot or a Yule's cast there from Save. Nice disengage, though. Close overall, but...
I like the play call, though. You lose your Lina across the map. You take advantage of it in some respect. KB looks to be next for Kiritich after finishing this SNY. He, of course, has the gem, so...
Yeah, I really like that early gem pickup on Bristle. Obviously, he didn't buy it himself, but running that around on a Bristle with Aegis gives you that extra map control. But Talon counterplayed it quite well. Haven't really been caught much. Map is starting to look smaller and smaller for them, though, with this dewarding going on. The outpost as well. Out of BetBoom. Kiritich, actually a little bit of a bluff here, this push. He's completely alone. I guess there's an Oracle a little bit behind him now. But with the information, this ward he has up top, seeing Mikoto, probably gives him the feeling of safety that he could go for this tower push. And he manages to take 2/3 of this tower on his own. He's going to keep going.
And
this is going to make this gate play a lot less likely, too.
Ball into the focus fire. Cuckoo, very dead. No chop, though, from Miero.
That's a really good macro from BetBoom. So Bristle is pushing mid with Oracle on backup, and in the meantime, because he's pushing there, Talon feel relatively safe to go through the gate top, but they get caught instead. Speaking up.
Oh, this is a bigger one, but the snowball save. Gale Force used now. And the shackle onto Makoto, tries to get off his ult, but the use is going to stop it. It's 23 Savage, doing a lot of damage, but he's also taking a lot. He gets the Hurricane Paragraph in time to take out Miero. Now the False Promise applied to GPK. Makoto in the Rolling Thunder might just have to get out. Assassinate is coming for him, but ooh, that was actually a good combo, but not enough. Makoto still slow to a crawl, but should be able to get away here.
Damn, Save is on the prowl.
Unless Save gets a ridiculous power shot here. Oh, the Gale Force. Duels. Gonna set. It's not enough still. Gets the shackle now.
Now he doesn't have mana.
He doesn't. He needs some assistance. The Jokum coming with the punch. He's gonna sacrifice his life for Makoto as the power shot actually misses. But guess what doesn't? The Quill Spray from Kiritich.
Damn.
A very long chase.
Yeah, understandably so. His teammates tip him there. That is not an easy play call to make for the Wind Rangers to chase that one all that way down. That was a 30-second chase from Save. It actually does manage to turn that into ultimately a relatively even exchange. You consider the way that tough fight started, you would have thought it would go better for the side of BetBoom, but Talon had really nice spell casting there to salvage the situation. Instant snowball in the Blink Call, of course. They got off the Pango roll. But with the full chase through, Boom do recover it.
Kiritich has been having some major mana issues.
Yeah.
How do you solve that on the Bristol exactly? I mean,
By
the old
mana
school
regen.
days, you'd say Eternal Shroud was the dream, right?
Yeah. Not sure how much he needs to... I mean, he's been using mana for a very long time, right? So eventually you are going to run out. It feels super bad to go back to base. It does look like that's what he's going to do, though. I don't know if you can really itemize for this. I don't think you can afford to buy a big mana regen item in this game. I think there's just way too important other things you have to take care of. Just going to have to accept that once in a while this will be happening.
Despite all this momentum for BetBoom, it's still only a 3K lead, and of course going high ground
Oh, that's
going to be pretty difficult against Talon.
I mean, WS has a harpoon, so that's the item for fishing, except Ags, of course, those two.
Will he go both?
He could. He's going BKB for now.
Could see an Ags after that is, see BetBoom, or Talon rather, grouped up here.
Pike now for the Lina. 23 Savage, very strong when he gets to deliver. You saw in the last fight how much damage he was able to output. He is not the call target. Might change quite drastically. There's a smoke available here for BetBoom. If they fancy their luck, they will do it, and so will Talon. So big moment coming up here. Who is going to find the angle?
It's not even with a Roche. Well, I guess Roche could technically spawn, but...
A nice board from Cuckoo.
Kiritich. Airball, there's the initiation, but a nice snowball to save everyone. Briero, he's still waiting. The roster's going to fall. 23 Savage going down the right clicks of GPK.
Dead.
He will drop. Buyback comes out from the roster, but they have lost so much on Talon. They will just have to back away. Makoto still very healthy.
That blink call. Imagine they didn't have such a clutch snowball save. That would have been even worse.
Oh.
But 3 for 1 with the buyback of Cuckoo. Big win there for BetBoom's side. Finding that initiation, and 23 Savage is just getting bodied in the fights. He really desperately needs... I don't know if Silver Edge is the right call here. I think maybe you have to buy Satanic. You don't have the staying power. You do not have a defensive support protecting you, such as the Oracle. Sure, you have Snowball, but once you come out of it, Kiritich as well as GPK will tunnel vision him. You're going to see this. There's a nice Snowball save there, but look at him as soon as he comes out of this. 23 Savage is getting eaten alive by Kiritich. This fight is almost over before it started. Never got an RP off on WS either.
Now some distance is made.
Yeah.
BetBoom with a bit more control.
Roche about to spawn as well, looking at about 45 seconds, so almost a max respawn timer, unfortunately, here for BetBoom, because I think they could have claimed it already if it was up.
Yeah, for sure.
They'll have to wait a little bit longer.
Miro's BKB in that fight, of course, and he's going to be going for Aghanim Scepter next, which will reduce the damage of the targets hitting him. He did take we didn't talk about his facet. It's the same one he took last time, where the enemies attack faster when you're called, and of course you get a little bit more armor for yourself as well. All about proccing that counter helix as much as possible.
And here comes Roche.
Yes, he does.
Talon are nowhere near.
3v for BetBoom.
I wonder what Talon are holding out for here. Like, if they have a clear plan in mind of when we get this item, when we get this combination of maybe talents or whatever, that things can change. Cuckoo's 15 will obviously be very big. He's level 14 now on the Shaman. Getting the Hex Break against Bristle will be a big help. In spite of that, you still see 23 Savage buy up that Silver Edge as his next, but he also queued up Satanic, so he is having that same inner monologue, figuring out what to do. Magna has the BKB completed. It's still going to be a tough ask for BetBoom to go high ground, but you've got Bristle back with an Aegis, or excuse me, you've got Sniper with an Aegis, which I think is a better choice. You're just going to place the banner and have GPK hit this 1,000 range, 1160 to be exact. A nice little bit of range on him.
Yep, fishing will be a little bit more difficult because of that. Kiritich will frontline. Now the TPs from Talon to try to defend here. Tower's already at half health. There's WS. He pushes him slightly forward.
Oh, that's not ideal.
Beautiful Berserker's call. Snowball is going to put them in a precarious spot. No, it's on the creep. Actually, well done. As GPK might be burning life number 1. Swashbuckle finishes the job. Nicely done from Makoto. He's going to get shackled up for his troubles with the focus fire to follow. As GPK can just hit from afar as Miera will set it up. And the dunk to follow. Down goes Makoto.
No buyback.
No buyback. As 23 Savage, headshots are starting to hurt. Have to try to run away. And they might need to give up this set of racks at this point without the Pangolier. As there, nice connection. Have GPK, but he pops the BKB. Still taking a lot of right click there. As the RP will follow. 23 Savage trying to get through this false promise onto GPK. It will eventually be his death, surely. But can he take anybody else to the grave? Yes. He takes WS as well. And some way, somehow, Talon have defended.
So important that WS finds that skewer, but it takes 2 for that play to happen. GPK was in so deep, he could have just hit the barracks. They had a full foothold in the base. They were set up, Pango was dead, and then they get a little bit overzealous and dive, and Talon, in classic Talon-based defense fashion, make it happen. Yeah, 5k lead now.
I feel like teams, even though it's picked basically every game, they don't respect the magnet. It feels like we see it every game. Oh, crazy.
You have to remember he does have insane reach with Harpoon.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to be very far out. But man, you're a sniper. You could have stood by the stairs, you know? You already bullied the enemy team out really nicely. That was a guaranteed range Rex, bare minimum. You could have maybe also got the melee. But of course, it's one of those situations where you get a little bit bloodthirsty. If the dive happens and it works, you might just win the whole game.
Yep.
Which is obviously a lot better than just the lane of barracks. But at the same time, the risk reward maybe not quite in your favor that time around.
Well, they'll have AC this time around for Kiritich, so minus armor on the towers.
no ages though.
Yeah, so Roche is down for quite a while, 5 minutes minimum. And our BetBoom just fine waiting for it. We're going to apply some pressure.
They are grouping up a lot of heroes top. Maybe for the Tormentor first off.
I mean, 23 is going to have his Silver Edge pretty soon, so even the Bristle's not going to be so safe. Oh, that's a good one.
Grenade, that's big.
That is good. What's the cooldown on concussive?
10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Yeah.
Man, so good. That's one of the best shards in the game, tell you what.
Just gonna say it, you were too fast.
With the Silver Edge officially. Love to use it as kind of a surprise tactic, but Shadow Blade for so long that I feel like BetBoom should be wary of it.
The way to quantify what would be the best shards in the game would be to compare the heroes' win rates when they have it versus when they don't. The ones that have the biggest increase have to have the best shard, right? That is what impacts your win rate the absolute most. Then
it's that easy. I think it's Miero looking for the opening. Oh,
nice react.
Nice blink from Cuckoo. Battle Hunger slows so much with the Gale Force on top. This will be a connection onto Jokum. No dunk again from Miero. They are not giving it to him. It's 22-7. Does he actually want to fight? He's going to try to blow up the Oracle. He will. And now the Nightfall. No Berserker's Call in range. Miero nowhere close. That's one way to stop the TP.
Kept only convincing him that it was on purpose with his Oracle voice line. Nice little play there from 23 to get that assassination, get out. Don't think this was going to lead into anything regardless. Like, the Tusk respawn timer is too short for that for BetBoom, and as we've already established, there's no objectives out on the map. WS, though, would be a big find.
Yeah, Miero with the follow-up. Oh, no! Photo gets blocked by the clip! Oh, that is unfortunate.
Oh, no.
We'll have to TP away.
That little piece of the wall.
I hate that on Pango, yeah.
If he had connected that initial stun, he actually saves Magnus, I think.
It's a big death. He does have buyback onto WS, so not a clear-cut high ground push for BetBoom at all.
Nice. Well, they do know a couple of things. They know Mag has no BKB if he were to buy back, and they know there's no roll. So,
yep, true.
I think this choice of going high ground here, I do like it. I think if you're effectively forcing Talon's hand here. Are you going to burn the buyback or not? If you don't burn the buyback, this is a lost rack 100%. If you do burn it, you could choose to disengage. You could see if you find a moment of opportunity.
And fortification on the melee.
You can PK with a Satanic, feels a lot more confident now.
Now
You can see him
Scepter.
standing a lot more aggressively with Magnus dead. That's one lane. They're going to get 2 full lanes.
There's the fortification now that the melee died. And more seconds for WS. Definitely will not burn it now.
Cuckoo going to put the snake's bottom, it looks like.
Yeah, trying to force them back. The smart move, but they're going to lose the second melee. Back the second lane entirely.
I was not
to the other side.
Expecting that.
Yeah, 2 lanes for BetBoom, and all it cost them is half their HP, maybe a little bit more now. Their tier 3 bot, which is also the lane that they're just going to be pushing next anyway.
And now that this has played out, it's hard to justify not buying back Magnus, right? There's no way that's not worth 2 lanes of barracks. I just think, just like for me, I don't think Talon expected this push to go this quickly. They probably thought they could poke and prod and defend it with their 2 glyphs, but not the case. Now BetBoom effectively one good team fight away from a guaranteed top 3 finish this tournament. Keep talking about how it's for starting in the upper bracket, but of course that guarantees you a podium position.
Yep,
there's only 1 round in the upper bracket, which is the upper bracket final starting tomorrow.
Talon just waiting for the push. Maybe not the best move anymore since your other 2 lanes are missing barracks. Dota will show in the mid lane temporarily. BetBoom smoke. A little tier 2 bot up for Talon. There's the Satanic you talked about from 23.
Yeah, so he has both now. He has Silver Edge and Satanic. This fight has to work out now. If he still doesn't find a big fight now, it's not going to get much better than this. His inventory is packed with goodies.
The smokes won't really turn into much here. At the very least, with the lanes pushing, you know that Talon have to go defend, especially in that top lane right now.
Looks like they're just going to give bottom lane up to GPK for free. I don't... Maybe not. They're going to try to hit him while he's hitting the tier 2, I guess, but... Yeah, okay,
there's the RP. It's onto Axe. Do they have the follow-up here? Rolling Thunder onto the back line. They get the punch, they get the Laguna. Down goes Miero. Big kill for Talon. They're going to get a second in the form of save. Now BetBoom will be retreating. Don't want to bleed out.
Is a good ward that they had right there by the outpost. Miero thought he could just take that. He was spotted the entire time in this smoke. They look too happy. Maybe he's not sure what the communication is. It's like, how did we not have control of this area? Or we need to, when we're pushing the bot tier 2, make sure that the flanking moves are impossible. Talon pull a quick one there. That's a huge fight to win. It's 4,000 gold.
Yeah, it's not much.
And they find a
skewer. The TP. I don't think they have a way to cancel that. So.
Only the punch, but I think Joachim was not the first TP. Could get a do-over on that one. You want Tusk to TP first instead of any of the other heroes, and that is a kill. But in the heat of the moment, really hard to communicate that perfectly. But that would have been a mega find. Killing Bristle there, he had the gem. It would have equalized the gold and maybe even given you Roche, which is about to spawn in 20 seconds. Good timing for BetBoom that Axe is about to respawn now, and they can maybe regain control here. Talon will, without a doubt, want to fight for this Roche, but they won't have RP as it spawns. But if BetBoom are quick enough...
I don't think they will be.
No, it doesn't look like they're checking it out right now. They have a major upgrade.
Well, you got double RP now.
Now he has one.
In 20 seconds.
His mana pool is not good. He's buying mangoes. This is getting harder. This is honestly pretty hard to manage in the heat of a fight. Juggle the double RP where you have to use 2 mangoes in between all your items. You need to be careful you don't cast too many spells, because even then the mangoes aren't enough.
Yeah, and you definitely do not want to show the refresher, as Roche will go to the bot side. GPK damage rune online.
2 ults on Magnus right now cost 1,050 mana. He has 951. He goes in treads. He has about 1071. I think he just toggled it for a moment. So he can just barely cast RP, refresh RP without BKBing. But if he BKBs, he has to mango. If he uses skewer, he has to double mango. Oh, I've seen this so many times, man. These players are so good at this game, but when it comes to these narrow mana pools with refresher, I almost feel like I see it fail more than I see it succeed. When you cut it that close, there's always something you didn't account for. You're like, oh, I need it. Oh, there's a nice shockwave to start. And then, oh shit, I'm missing 50 mana for my last RP. Looking for WS to clutch it out. It's going to be a big fight coming up, and double RP could be a game winner. And a fuck up could cost you a guaranteed top 3. So, a lot on the line here. In school kids, make sure you study math. All right.
Yeah, math very important for your mana capacity usage in Dota 2. Aghanim Scepter for Oracle, so Lost Promise will give invisibility.
Bonus spell damage.
And spell damage.
That's really good on Bristle.
Oh, yeah.
Base attack time reduction.
Look at this.
Great in general.
In opposite directions, although there is one close by Joachim.
Yeah, he's looking to break this.
Pop the smoke, and Will here. Links away. Makoto, Rolling Thunder. Initiation starts onto GPK. Makoto gets the Hex. Onto Miero. There's the RP, but that's the BKB onto the Axe. He's very tanky at 23 damage. Right-clicking from afar as Keratin trying to focus on him. Another RP now, but the False Promise on the Axe. He's going to stay alive a little bit longer. Skewer to follow as well, but finally they get the Axe in the end, but it's going to cost them 23. 3 dead for BetBoom all of a sudden as Keratin trying to put everybody on his back. Triple kill. He's going to lose save if he's not careful. Now it's a 1 versus 2. Bristol back. Got the Ghost Scepter to keep the Rasta alive. Makoto, I mean, they cannot kill this Bristol for sure, but very least, nobody's getting Roche. Now you have to defend your base. The creeps are there.
That is such a good play from Joachim to break the smoke in that fashion. They immediately punish it too. He breaks the smoke, they get a roll immediately through the enemy team, and with Miero getting caught by the first RP, they end up using False Promise on the Axe. Then WS is still able to get off the second RP, so he did his math correctly. And the second one catches the sniper, excuse me, which Lena was able to take out. Very tooth and nail fight.
Yeah, it was close.
Just one or two things going differently for either team, and we're looking at a team white, maybe like a 5-for-2, 5-for-1, but everybody landing their stuff, and that means anything can happen here. Big items coming out. Shadow Blade for the Wind Ranger, looking for a surprise jump. You got the heart now on Bristle. 3.7k HP, up to 4.6. Tough kill.
Yeah, you just ignore. You're talking about the false promise being good on Bristle. He hasn't remotely needed
No.
the issue, right?
And the question is if there's some way for Miero to prevent himself from needing to be ulted by Oracle like that. It's so much better for them if they get it on the sniper instead of on the axe.
I think the axe was worth it for the Oracle.
So far.
But Shard into the pit. Roche is at half HP as Kiritich is soloing it right now. Talon. The call comes out, Rolling Thunder to try to disrupt the initiation. Different words are placed as well. The Gale Guard making this pretty difficult to fight in. Hero pops the BKB, they get saved to start the fight. The Joker taking the right click to the 23 Savage. Will find his way against Kiritich, will have to run away. He's just getting beat down by this Bristleback. He's going to self-exile though, but he gets two-shot afterwards. Meanwhile, GPK, Hurricane right on the other side of the clip to be able to take out WS. The range is killing Talon right now. GPK looking for Makoto next, but the Hex is going to delay this. Finally gets the bullets, and now the Assassinate onto the roster. One more kill for the road, and BetBoom win this fight 5-2. And now they're going to get Roche on top of it and cost them a buyback onto save, and that's it.
The completely fundamental difference between this fight and the previous one is the difference from 0 to 2 RPs. That really is it.
Yeah, true.
They managed to assassinate the first hero immediately with the Lena, and they also killed the axe, but after that, Sniper is completely free, Bristle is completely free.
Somebody has to buy back here, surely.
Yeah, they're mega now already. It's a matter of whether the game's over. Like, they actually can't.
It might just end. 3 heroes do not have buyback, and that's all 3 cores for Talon. 25 seconds on Magnus.
So they're going to start getting megas. If they went for tier 4s, they would just recognize the game's over. But
yeah, playing it safe, so megas online, and now for the tier 4s.
Now they know they can't have buybacks. They would have surely
Magnus up in 10 seconds.
Megas.
That's the last fortification that Talon had. They're going to have to try to defend this. 5 seconds for the Magnus. Jokum trying to delay it. He's getting right click from afar though. Gets off the snowball, but these buildings are melting to Kiritich. And here comes the potential RP for WS as Kiritich casually takes out Jokum. Has the buyback on the Tusk as the Lena now up in 5 seconds. There's the Skewer. Get the Hex as well. Cuckoo. Up to BKB from Kiritich. Could literally just finish the Ancient now if he wants. No fortification to work with as Miero working on Jokum. Wants to get this die back as GPK deletes WS. 23 Savage trying with all his might to defend, but this will end up being GG in favor of BetBoom. GPK wants the rampage first, but it will not happen. A very entertaining game number 3 as BetBoom secure themselves in the upper bracket, and like you said,